everyone. Hope you're having a good week. Today we're just gonna kind of mess with transforming some geometry and um, I guess just kind of play around with some landscape. So let's just get started. Let's go to Grasshopper and let's do kind of an odd shape right off the bat. Let's go to our lunchbox tab. I'm gonna just use this 3D super shape, which is pretty interesting on its own. And I'm just gonna type in, let's do 15 and 15 for the UV. See if we can kind of simplify this just a bit. Do something like that. All right. And these other ones I'm not too concerned with, but we could play with that later maybe. So first thing I want to do is just twist it. Okay, so this needs an axis and an angle. So to create the axis, I'm going to just type in XYZ, construct a point. We're going to do this twice. Okay, I'm going to put a negative in here for the Z. And let's just do 15 for now. Plug that into here. Plug this into here. All right. And then we need to type in line. Plug the A into our first point, B into our second point, and then we can plug it directly into the twist there. And the angle, we can right click on there, go to degrees, and I'm just going to type in 150 for now. Okay. All right, we're just going to select what we made previous and let's twist it in another direction. So let's copy and paste that over, put it into our original twist, and then from here I'm just going to click over to the Y. There we go. If we hide that, that's looking pretty cool. Let's do it again maybe. And so if you mess with the line variation, like right now it's at 15, if you make it shorter, it'll make it just twist like at a very concentrated area. You'll see in just a sec here. You'll see it'll be like really twisting, like really centralized here. And the geometry is going to start to get heavy on this, so probably won't play too much with the twisting. But if you start off with like, say, a simpler shape like a sphere, for instance, it'd be a heck of a lot different. See how it's really centralized in there? Yeah. I'm going to stay away from doing that. And then for this, I'm going to hit Control Shift, click and drag the Z's all the way up to the X. Do the same. Okay, if we plug that into our second twist there, we'll have to unhide this. It might take just a minute to process. Give it a second. Hopefully it turns out like we want. And we won't have to wait this long. There we go. I'm going to hide the twist over again. Let's turn on what this looks like. There we go. Pretty sweet looking already. Very cool. Let's see what that looks like rendered. It's going to be a lot of geometry. See how busy that is? But if we go to rendered, it should look pretty sweet. Yeah. Very blob-like. I like it. Okay. I'm just going to turn that off so we can kind of save on Rhino power there. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just type in ISO trim. We're going to subdivide this out, divide domain square, plug that into our twisted surface there, plug it all into here, and we just want one singular set of the UVs. So I'm going to just do 15 for one of them, and then 1 for the V. And then if we type in deconstruct brep, plug that into our subsurface, and type in item, that'd be list item. Oop. Just like that. You'll see we're getting just one singular set of lines there. Let's increase that value so we get more and more. And if it looks better in the V direction, definitely, by all means, do it that way. And then from here, I'm going to type in extend curve. we're going to try to make little openings in this, so like where the UVs start to come apart, so we have kind of circular openings. I'm going to type in negative, so we're not extending, we're actually doing the opposite. Let's type in 15 for now. Okay, let's hide our list item. There we go. Starting to get some cool stuff happening already. And from here, I'm going to just type in bounding box, and we're going to start to create kind of fins off of this. And we need to flatten this and type, or right click on there and type in union box, or click on union box. Then we'll type in volume, get our volume centroid. And I'm going to type in scale. We're going to scale those lines based off of this center. And let's do 1.25. We probably didn't need to do the volume centroid just because obviously everything's 0, 0. So we could just delete that out. My mistake. And then from here, all we need to do is type in loft. Click it into the scale. Click it into our extended lines. We should have some fins starting to come about. Yep. See what that looks like rendered. Very cool. That's looking really sweet. I definitely like it. Okay. Let's go back to Grasshopper. I'm going to tone down the thickness of those. So let's do, let's say 1.1. So we can see through them a bit more. There we go. Kind of getting that mirage effect happening. That looks awesome. Very cool. And I was looking at terrariums this weekend, so I was going to put like a circular terrarium in here. So that'll be a little bit more hand modeling. But let's pick a size real quick. So I'm just going to type in sphere. We'll make it look like it's kind of just floating in the space. That's a little bit too big. Let's bring that down. Okay, that looks awesome. I'm going to undo the fins real quick. Let's do some hand modeling. There. Okay. And I'm just going to give it a, we're going to do kind of 2 sets of landscape modeling today. So I'm just going to bring that over to here. This will be kind of our base landscape. All right. And I can delete out the sphere. We're going to type in rebuild. 125, 125 is great. Turn our points on as usual. And again, we'll probably do this twice. Okay. And let's just make some kind of fake hills in here. Okay. I'm just going to kind of go through there again. There's a part in here. Bring that up as well. Might get a little busy, but that's fine. Okay, let's type in smooth. Let's make it really, really smooth. There we go. Okay, let's turn those points back on. Let's give it some ridges. I might tone it down even more, but for now this is perfect. I don't want to do anything on the edge because we're going to end up splitting it. Give it some time here. That's looking pretty good. We'll type in smooth. That might be a little bit too smooth. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. So I think we'll make this a rock layer. Hopefully this all works out. And I'm just going to tap Alt and hold Shift to duplicate that. And we're going to drop it down. This is going to be kind of the grass layer. I'll bring it lower, just like so. This layer is going to be grass. Looking good. I might just bring the whole thing quite a bit lower. We're gonna kind of make some floating geometry happen. And then from here, just to get kind of that terrarium look, I'm going to type in bend. We're just going to bend it in 2 different directions. This might take a little bit of time just because we're kind of making the surface more and more complicated. I'm just going to rotate that down again, and we'll bend it in the other direction. Try to get it about the same. Awesome. Type in rotate. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to type in Grasshopper. We're going to get that sphere baked out. Looks great. And then we can kind of downsize this just a hair. Try to get the most out of that landscape we just built. Looks good to me. And from here, what I'm going to do is just split this geometry up. And what I want to do next is actually split the sphere there. We're going to take the top half, delete it out, delete out the sides here. Now we kind of have a nice little terrarium that's going to sit in. I'm going to take the bottom half of the sphere, change that to a rock layer. That'll kind of act like our dirt. All right. And then if we go back to our sphere, I'm just going to slightly increase the size. So there's a little bit of a gap in between. Just like that. Awesome. This is going to be glass. Great. So if we go to render viewport, you'll start to see what this starts to look like, even though the glass isn't showing up that great. Okay. One thing I might do is just tap Alt, give it kind of a double layer of glass, so we get some nice reflections happening. That's awesome. And we'll go back to these fins here. Just going to bake them out. It's great. And we'll apply a material here. We'll say it's concrete for now. We go to rendered. Very cool. Next thing I'm just going to do is kind of copy and paste this around, rotate it so we show off the different parts of this model. Just like that. Maybe some are covered, maybe some aren't. And I'm thinking this scene is going to be way out in the ocean. So not a lot of other landscape modeling to be done. Maybe we'll spread these out just a bit more. Are these the same direction? Yeah. I'm going to rotate this one all the way this way. Maybe it'll be fully covered rather. Okay. I think something like this is going to be our view. Bring that out just a bit. Actually, bring it in. Great. All right, and then as usual, we'll type in bounding box. Okay, explode it out. This will be our C. I'm just going to kind of square it out. So, and then scale it, holding shift on our gumball. And we need some sand that kind of comes up and touches each one of these. So we'll type in rebuild. Perfect. Okay, that's our C. Let's do our sand. What I'm going to do is type in invert, lock everything down. We're going to turn on our points there. And what we can just do is pick up right underneath here each one of those points. I'm going to end up moving this one over, so I'm just going to pick up this island there. Awesome. All we need to do is just pick those up so it's above, quite a ways above the water. So what we'll do next is smooth it. Hit OK. Bring that just a bit lower. Might have smoothed it a little bit too much. You still want space in between there. You know what? It might be fine the way it is. Let's just bring it lower so each one of these is slightly touching the sand there. And next, if I hit unlock here, I'm just going to copy this one, or not copy it, but just move it over. so it's nice and equal to the rest. And then this one, I might shrink it up just a hair. Lower it down. This one I'm going to do the same. There we go. So the main one's in front there. And we'll change this over to water. And we should be all set for Lumion. All right, so this loaded up really quickly. So let's just start applying some materials into this. The water's already in there, so let's try to give it a little bit more ocean-like look, I guess I should say, not like. Let's see, blue ocean. Clear ocean might be a little bit better. I wonder if we can get some more kind of foam on there. Looks good. Maybe bigger waves. Looks great. And then we'll do the sand there. I have these, looks like I have the scale really, really big. So let's just make sure it's apparent that it's sand. All right. The glass looks pretty good, but let's see what other glass we actually have. I kind of want it to be relatively clear. Yeah, that should work. And then for our grass, we'll obviously do that as grass, 3D grass. See what that looks like. Looks pretty good. Maybe make that slightly smaller. The rock, do various. Let's get some moss on there, change the scale out just a bit. The relief up there. Looking pretty sweet. Okay. And the overall kind of fin material there. I'll say it's kind of a sunshade. It should be used maybe some sort of stone. That looks pretty cool. Excellent. And then let's plant some trees in the terrarium there. I don't know if they'll really show up that much, but it's worth it just to show a few. Let's do it kind of in the front areas there. It's already a pretty heavy model. We might have some kind of popping out, so we'll have to delete later. But that's just fine. That's looking pretty cool. Do the same for over here. Guess the camera's going to be okay, so we'll just plant them right through here pretty heavily so you can see them. And then the back one, I don't know if we'll be able to see too much. So we'll do something like that. That should be just fine. Then we'll just go through and kind of delete out the excess trees that are kind of popping out. Okay, click those out, click that one out. I think that's pretty much good for that one. We'll go through here. The model is a little bit heavy, so the computer's kind of chugging. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And then this one had quite a few. Great. Oops, there's one sticking right there. 4 sticking. Excellent. Okay. And next we're going to add some tropical trees down at the bottom. Let's see. Do these. Just kind of paint them in clusters. Let's get down in there. Oh shoot, wrong trees. Do that. Delete these. Go back to our tropical. patches of them. Don't have to be crazy with it. Okay, do the same for over here. Get around to the back side here, maybe just a small cluster of them. What about some low-lying plants there? Just a few. Maybe I should have just done one of these, a lot of plants. One thing I wanted to try, I don't know if it's going to work very well, so we might have to undo. Let's see if we can get some birds flying in these things. Let's do it on the front one. Did they even show up really? Let's do a few more. Yeah, I probably won't even be able to see them, but that's totally fine. All right, let's just get a boat maybe in here. Keep it relatively simple. Nice sailboat. Oop, did it in a cluster again. All right, let's delete them out. I'll just do 1 rather than 20. And then let's put a person out there. Won't even be able to notice it, but that's totally fine. And we are ready to render. Alright, so this one, let's do a realistic scene. FX, let's adjust the camera quick. I'll add in a bit of sun. Get it kind of low. I'm going to bring, save our view there. That's looking pretty cool already. Alright, I'm not sure about that water, so I want it to be a little bit darker. Alright, we're going to have to get our camera up. This might be an aerial shot rather than kind of a ground level. Okay. Oop, I didn't click on the right one there. It's not photo matching. We need to do camera 2-point. There we go. Now we can adjust the focal length. There we go, much better. I'm going to put some fog out there in the distance. Let's change out the sun just a bit. There we go, so just kind of revealing the landscape on the inside there. Oh, shoot. It's looking pretty good. I like that. All right, let's get some fog happening. Could do weather maybe. Let's see what precipitation looks like. Let's see. Add that fog out in the distance there. Maybe it's kind of an ocean storm happening. Looks pretty good. Not crazy about that water still, so I'll have to see. Definitely isn't going to be a snow scene, which is funny. I wonder if we render this out twice and we have snow on the inside, but not on the outside. That might take too long though. Okay. Yeah, the precipitation doesn't really work for me. Let's do some fog. That doesn't really work either. If there's a cloud setting we could use. Horizontal cloud maybe? Might look good. It's blocked by another effect. Okay. Well, that other effect is going to have to go away. Try that again. There we go. That's much better. All right. I don't know what's happening, but it took away that horizon line, which I wanted. Let's do sky and clouds. Bring up the master cloud amount. Still not crazy about the water, so we'll do an adjustment on that just a bit. We don't see any birds, but we're getting a lot of kind of beauty with just the landscape sitting in there, and then we might adjust some of the trees. Let's do some more low clouds in there. Adjust the sun just a bit. Let's bring that around. Bring it lower. So if we go super low. That was pretty cool. I'll keep it for now. The water looks better. The boat looks like it's floating, so we're going to drop that down. Or it's floating above the water, so we need to just take that, bring it all the way down so it looks like it's actually in water. Okay, let's get some plants out in here. What did we have last time? Yeah. Let's just plant the heck out of it. Over here as well. All right. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think this is the shot for sure. Let's save that over the last one. All right, let's render this out. Oh yeah, it's 71. That's looking really good. I think I'm gonna bring up the sun just a bit because it looks a little dark. Maybe where we at? -54. That should be it. And I think this is pretty set to go. We can modify a lot of that in Photoshop. Um, yeah, we're all set for Photoshop. All right, so got it into Photoshop, and I was just thinking about it. We can't really see the birds. They're just little dots. So what I'm going to do right now is just do it the old-fashioned way and get out a PNG and basically just plug it in. So from here, we might exaggerate it so these birds might look a little bit bigger than what they should, obviously. But just to give a hint that there's life inside these spheres. Okay, and from here I might just so that background kind of disappears, and then we'll kind of bring down the opacity so it's not so heavy. After all, it's behind glass. Awesome. And what I'm going to do now is just flatten that out. Do Control J to duplicate the layer, and then from here I'm just going to lighten up everything. So try to get some of that green really piercing through these. Looking great. All right, let's do an auto color for this. That looks awesome. That's looking great. Let's add our vignetting to the brush. The bottom here, to the top. Lift that up. And we'll lower the opacity on that, just a hair. All right, it's looking great. I'll just bring up the color here using the dodge tool. Let's get in there and highlight some of the greens. Same here. Let's get some of these palm trees kind of popping a little bit more. All right, I think we're done. All right, well, as always, thanks for watching. Try to keep these up more and more and more. And please subscribe, like, and comment, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one.